Welcome. It's time for the Sheffield edition of the Ref Show with Keith Hackett and with David Hirst. We've got a problem, a timing problem, that when this comes out, you will know. We don't know now at Monday lunchtime whether Sheffield United have succeeded or not in getting to the League One playoff final. We can, though, reflect on the referee for the first leg at Bramall Lane. It was Darren Bond. I'm sure most Blades fans know that name by now. Certainly Nigel Clough does. The 1-1 draw that night, and to say the least, that was controversial. Now, we don't know, as we're talking now, how significant that has proved towards the result. Swindon's 2-1 win, I should say, at the Lane last week. What did you think, Keith?
I thought his game was wishy-washy. I think there were some decisions that he got right. I think the handball was questionable, and I've seen referees give that. But there were long periods of the game where he needed to come in and put a little bit of authority into it. You know, let's stop the game, have a quiet word, let's just run alongside, use the captains. The game actually looked a bit too big for him.
What did you think, David?
I thought it was a little bit quick for him. I thought he found himself a little bit chasing the game at times, trying to get up with play and to make decisions. There was a situation where Sheffield United were on a break and he pulled it back for a free kick that if he'd let it go, I mean, they pretty much cleared through on goal. So,
that was an awful decision.
Yeah, and I think that was the one where he's actually got to the event and seen the incident rather than what's going to happen afterwards.
It goes against all their coaching as well. I know Nigel Clough was determined to single out Alan Wiley after the game, or speak to Alan Wiley, the coach of Darren Bond. He gave the free kick. They normally wait, don't they, to see if something develops?
The law was changed to allow that delay and then to pull it back. Yeah. So an experienced referee would in fact allow the play to go and then could pull it back if it's a cautionable offence. Alan will no doubt, as an experienced former Premier League referee, and his coach have whispered into his ear some of the things that he needed to do.
And this is a highly rated referee who was tipped, I think, you were telling me off air, to go places.
Well, he's in that development group, and that's where the target is. The one thing I can say is that given that match, let's hope that he doesn't repeat that and he learns from his errors. But he needed to be in control, and he wasn't.
That's the bottom line, really.
Absolutely.
And certainly the perception was that even if and I never saw those key incidents again, my perception was the same. He didn't appear to be on top of that game.
He wasn't, and I think as a result, that then leaves himself open to criticism. And when you've got such a big game, and it is a big game, the referee needs to be absolutely on top form. And so the balance is, was this the right appointment for him? I would have thought that he went away with a fair amount of criticism that was well deserved.
Talking about being on top of things, the two pitches at Hillsborough, Bramall Lane, both being relayed, state-of-the-art surfaces in each case. We look forward to that. Keith, you know, that's great for players, great for managers. Must be good for referees too, mustn't it?
Oh, I think if there's an even bounce, things like advantage can be played because you're confident the player's going to retain possession. I think it helps the game generally as a whole, aids control. But from a refereeing perspective, it makes things easier. There's no doubt. The ball's not coming up suddenly with an uneven bounce and a player snatching to play the ball.
You're not getting as many injuries and stoppages either, or shouldn't do. Even since in the relatively short time since your playing days, it's been an incredible revolution in pitch technology.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, 20 years ago, I mean, the bad pitches that we see now were the norm back then, certainly at this stage of the season. But you look around certainly the Premiership and the Championship, there's some surfaces that you see now. I mean, I mentioned earlier about Bournemouth. You know, Bournemouth, their surface superb, which again entitles them to play great football that they play and achieve the target that they've achieved. You know, and it'd be interesting to see what the refereeing at Bournemouth has been like. You know, on the scale that you just mentioned there of yellow cards, red cards, and decisions that have not got quite right.
Interesting about the levelling up of the Hillsborough pitch as well, because you'll have got so used to it, and you can play to your advantage.
I used to play downhill second half.
yeah, down in towards the corner at the Kop.
I tell you, having refereed on Hillsborough a couple of times in my career, when you're in that bottom corner at the left-hand side near the Kop, and then you're faced with a sprint towards the other corner. It's a long way.
You can't get out of it.
It's a long way.
Well, that's why when we used to go for the toss, I used to get the captain to play towards the cop first, because I never finished the game in the second half, so I never had to get another 45 minutes uphill.
and we do advise referees, so certainly when I coach referees who are going to officiate at Hillsborough, to not go into that corner, to actually fall short near the edge of the penalty area. Don't chase it into the corner, because if a ball is cleared,
if you get in the corner, you can't see over the hill.
It's hard work.
Great advice. That's a thing of the past. It's a level playing field next season, folks. Keith, David, thanks very much indeed. Join us for another Sheffield Ref Show in a week. Bye.